Welcome to your own YouTube channel. Friends, don't forget to subscribe the channel so that you won't skip any important video in this banker series. Also, do stay till last of the seminar so that you don't miss anything, as I'm going to share many important topics, tips and points which no other senior or your colleague will tell you. This seminar is made keeping whole banking community in mind and not specific to any particular bank. Share this video as far as possible so that your friends too benefit and don't make mistakes while lending. Friends, with fast promotions and less experience, most managers or officers find it tough to handle the advances pressure of the branch. Let me tell you that advances or loans which are done in pressure normally turn bad or NPA. So it's better to have thorough knowledge of advances before going for the dip. Let us start with the agenda of this seminar. First, we will start with KYC. Here you will learn what to look for in the borrower when he or she first comes for the loan and things to look out for which most bankers miss. Next, we will learn about the credit cycle. What are the different stages of a loan? Knowing credit cycle is very important for any banker sitting in the advances seat. Then we will learn about the pre-sanction stage, which things to look out for before saying yes to any loan proposal. This is the stage where most bankers make mistakes. Next, we will learn how to safeguard the loan. If you safeguard the loan, then you are not only safeguarding the institution but also yourself, as mistakes done often comes to haunt you later in your career. Next, we will see how and what points to see in a balance sheet presented by the borrower. Friends, you will have to come across the balance sheets if you are sitting in advances seat sooner or later. So, better watch this part very carefully. Then we will have a look at the points to notice in legal opinions presented along with the loan file. Friends, no matter which loan you are doing, if it's related to property, then legal opinions are must, and this is where your hands are tied, as you can do everything yourself except this thing. For legal opinion, you are dependent on your advocate. In this part, you will learn what and how to read legal opinions. Next, you will learn points to remember while filling appraisals. Many experienced people also make mistakes and or say blunders while filling appraisals. So, you should check this part very carefully. Then comes an important part, that is inspection. In this section, you will learn how to do unit inspections. Many doesn't take inspection seriously and just go to inspect, have some tea and snacks and come back. This is not what inspection is all about. We will learn how and what to look out for in the inspection. After sanctioning the loan, now comes an important part, that is how to perform post-sanction. Post-sanction is equally important as pre-sanction. At last, we will look for some miscellaneous but very important points which are often skipped or many officers don't even know. So do stay till last of this seminar. I also have a free ebook to offer you. This seminar will change the way you work in advances or lending. We will start with KYC. Yes, KYC is must. You must first identify the customer. It is better to approach the customer rather than the customer approaches you. Sometimes, borrower is not selected properly. He is either new customer or introduced by another stranger or middleman. Never involve middlemen. You should talk the customers directly. Also, avoid giving multiple loans to single party or family or groups, to minors, lunatics or insolvents. It is compulsory to complete all KYC norms before you are even thinking of giving a loan. For KYC, the following things are to be taken care of. First is proof of identity, then proof of residence, then comes proof of business address, then comes PAN card, then comes ITR receipt. It must be noted that you should take the ITRs duly verified. These days, ITRs are verified online through Aadhaar and you should accept those ITRs only. Photocopies of all these must be verified with the original and also get them signed by the borrower and also keep on record. Aadhaar authentication is now made compulsory in all loan accounts, so these days it's easy to do KYC, as you can match the fingerprints and other details with UIDAI database and actually verify the details of borrowers. Next, we move on to credit cycle. The credit cycle consists of credit opportunity, credit creation, the credit management, credit completion, and then back to credit creation. Whichever branch you are posted, you will find loans in one stage or the other. So, credit opportunity is the loan cases pending and also making new leads in advances. Then, credit creation is the pre-sanction or pre-visit part of the loans. The credit management is the documentation part of any loan, and credit completion is the post-sanction part of any loan. Thus, every branch has loan cases which will belong to any of the above stages. Now comes RBI's defaulter list. You should always check whether borrower belongs to RBI's defaulter list or not, which you can access on RBI's website. You should confirm that borrower or guarantor's name do not appear in the defaulters list, and confirmation of the same must be put on record. Then comes CIBIL reports. Next step is to search the CIBIL report of borrowers and guarantors in all loan cases and commercial CIBIL report in case of firms or companies. CIBIL report should be analyzed thoroughly that whether the borrower or guarantor have availed any loan from other banks or financial institutions, or is there any overdue amount. There should be documentary proof to satisfy these irregularities. You should avoid giving loans to CIBIL score of below 650. Any loan coming in the CIBIL should be cross-verified from the borrower. Also, avoid giving loans where accounts shown in CIBIL statements are running overdue. Though CIBIL is must to generate before any loan, but as per my observation, CIBIL reports has many flaws, especially in rural areas where most often you will find CIBIL score of -1 and it becomes very difficult to proceed. Thus, you should not deny any loan simply on the basis of CIBIL. Before proceeding further, search should be made on CERSAI or CIBIL mortgage site to ascertain that there is no mortgage outstanding against the property in any bank or financial institution. Then comes an important part, that is loan safety. Friends, practically no loan is safe as you can't see what is going on inside the borrower's mind. Loans with all proper documentation and all due diligence also goes NPA. Just imagine if a millionaire comes to your branch with perfect CIBIL score and lots of security to offer. So can you deny him the loan? The answer is no, isn't it? But if the account willfully turns NPA, then whose fault is this? You did everything, but still you can't know what's running inside the person's mind. Recently, agriculture debts were waived in many states, and what happened after that was that even the good farmers or the farmers which were paying their dues regularly every year, even they stopped repaying their debts. And the only answer they gave was that Saab maaf ho jayega. Oh, our loan will be waived again. The fact of the matter is that you don't know what's going inside a borrower's mind or what will happen in the future. So, but still, if you can wisely apply these points mentioned in this seminar, you can still save a going to be NPA loan. Then comes an important part of lending, that is pre-sanction visit. So, in this stage, you visit the residence or place of the borrower, place of the unit and property to be mortgaged. Pre-sanction visit is basically to determine the bank ability and access related riskiness of the proposal. Identification of borrower and site must be ascertained beyond doubt by inquiring from neighbors and other surrounding people. The whole observation must be noted down and to be placed on the record. Mostly I see pre-sanction visits are done informing the borrower, and he too presents a rosy picture with tea and snacks well prepared before your arrival. Always do pre-sanction visit without any notice to the borrower. Now comes assets and liabilities reports. Assets and liability statements of all borrowers or guarantors must be prepared on prescribed format. mentioning full details of assets and liabilities duly signed by the borrower or guarantor and accountant and manager. You should also take necessary proof of assets and liabilities being taken. Then comes balance sheets. In case of working capital limits, you need to ask for 3 years balance sheet of the unit along with income tax or sales tax returns, etc. For higher amount, get audited balance sheets. Also ask projected balance sheet of next 2 years in case of working capital limits and for the period of loan in case the term loan is mandatory. The balance sheet must be analyzed thoroughly and sanctionable limits must be assessed. Friends, as per my experience, I rarely see a flawed balance sheet which a borrower brings, as the chartered accountants gave a perfect balance sheet to the borrowers, which no bank or financial institution can question. You can find ready-made balance sheets in many big cities. So, how to verify a balance sheet? You think it's by calculating various ratios? No, sir. The figures are so perfect that even ratios are perfect. So, what to do? You should analyze the following points and verify the figures presented in balance sheets. So, here comes your analytical skills. The first is how capital or fund is raised. Then, how capital or fund is utilized. Then you should see the financial stability of the firm. Then you should also assess the profitability. Next comes repayment capacity. Also assess the expenditure analysis. Then you should check the sales achieved of the firm. Also check existing loans and liabilities. So friends, if you deeply analyze above points with the visit to the site and analytically analyzing the firm, then you can easily find suspicious points in the balance sheets. Next comes the project report. The project report is mandatory for term lending. The project report contains details of machinery to be acquired, price, name of the suppliers, the capacity utilization, the production, sales, projected report, the projected profit and loss, balance sheet for next 7 to 8 years, till the proposed loan is to be paid. Projected report should be analyzed and feasibility should be ascertained. Then comes credit rating. The credit rating must be done in all loan cases as per bank's guidelines. Retail loans like housing loan, auto loan and education loan should be done as per bank's norm. The rate of interest should be fixed as per credit rating. In agricultural loans, there is no need of credit rating. Also, the credit rating should be done judicially based on analyzing balance sheets. You must always avoid sanctioning loans having credit rating below 3. Now comes very important part of lending, that is legal opinion. Verification of title deed of property to be mortgaged is utmost necessary. It must be ascertained that it is original, not fake, scanned copy or duplicate one. In legal opinion, a revenue authority should personally verify that title deed to be mortgaged must tally with the one kept with the revenue records. You must get certified copy of title deed and tally it with original title deed. Also take certificate from advocate that certified copy tallies with the original one. You should thoroughly read the legal opinion given by the advocate and observe that there is no objectionable thing which goes against the bank interest. Also obtain all the documents mentioned in the legal opinion. Here, it is important to note that you should personally verify that submitted title deed belongs to the property you visited earlier. Also, make sure that SERSAI Act 2002 is applicable on the property. Certificate of change of land must be taken in case of unit to be financed is to be built on agricultural land. If you are financing commercially in rural areas, then you should note that the land is converted into the commercial usage from agricultural land. You can't finance for commercial projects on agricultural land. Now we will see enhancement cases. Any additional limit sanction against the same securities charge which are already charged to the bank, you must ensure that the charge is extended to such limits. Then all concerned should be kept informed and you should also acknowledge debt or balance confirmation with the borrower. Now comes another important part, that is valuation. Valuation of property to be mortgaged is to be done from valuer on the bank's panel. The considered value is either circle rate or realizable value, whichever is lower. After that, realizable value can be considered. For agricultural land, the circle rate is fixed by the collector revenue for the area or circle. The Land Revenue Authority or Tehsildar or DM or any other authority for determining the valuation of land should be considered. A valuation report of the valuer must be thoroughly analyzed, that it should not contain any comment which may harm the bank's interest on later stage. The title deed, revenue numbers, area of the land must tally with the deed or legal opinion and valuation report. Now let's see points to note while filling the appraisal. After verifying all documents, the appraisal note should be filled. Care should be taken that full details should be filled and it should be complete in all respects. Appraisal should reveal how much riskier the project is for the bank. Documentation forms the basis of legal relationship between the bank and borrower. Thus, following points should be taken care of while filling the appraisal. The first is information of borrower. Name, full address, phone numbers, PAN number, date of birth and net worth and constitution should be given. Then, while processing credit, figure out both positive and negative points on the piece of paper. Now compare the proposal with the circular of the bank. All circulars have checklist. Tick point by point and figure out gaps if any. Also jot the measures that you or the party needs to take to fill those gaps. Get confidential reports from the other banks and financial institutions. Then amount of loan and purpose of loan should be given in full. Constitution of account. You should note whether the account is individual, joint, the co-borrower or proprietorship or partnership or a private limited company. Also ask for full details of his accounts with other banks or branches. Then information of guarantor should be given in details like name, address, PAN number, date of birth, phone number, net worth, etc. Then detail of primary security should be given in full as related to the case. Example, if it is mortgage of property, full address as mentioned in the legal opinion should be given along with the date of legal opinion and valuation report, and values like market value, realizable value with date. If hypothecation of vehicle, its RC number, date, engine number, date of insurance, etc. should be written clearly. Similarly, for additional securities, full details should be given as the case may be. Then balance sheet figures should be given in full, preferable consisting of last 2 years audited figures, the current year's provisional figures and the projected figures for the next 2 years. Ratios like current ratio, debt to equity ratio, etc. must be calculated and filled. Observation about balance sheet must be mentioned in the note. At last we have credit rating, which must be mentioned in the note, and based on it the rate of interest should be mentioned by quoting circular number on which it is based. Next we will see repayment. Detail of repayment mentioning amount of EMI also in words. Duration in months must be mentioned. If moratorium period is allowed, then it must be mentioned and also mention the date of first installment. Now let's see about the disbursement. In case of term loan, disbursement should be as per schedule approved by the bank. In case of housing loans, disbursement should be related to actual progress in the implementation of project. For that, you should visit the site periodically. For any delay in project, you should seek the borrower's arguments. Also monitor costs being incurred and scrutinize receipts being produced by the borrower. In case of education loan, the disbursement should be semester-wise and fees details should be asked directly from college and not via student. In case of housing loan disbursement, you should never disburse all amount in full. It's always in phases. And the picture of every stage should be saved in file. A small important tip, that you should never disclose the date of disbursement to borrower. Actual date of disbursement should always be hidden from customers. Now let's see role of periodic inspections. Periodical inspections enable bank to keep a check on the stocks hypothecated to bank. Now what you should do in periodical inspections? The first is obtain basic info on the functioning of unit. Then do physical verification of stock. Then match the stock with stock statement given. Then do rough valuation of the stock on MRP or market price. Then you should see the quality of the stock hypothecated to bank. It should not be of inferior quality which is charged to bank, or obsolete or rejected stock which is of no market value. Then the bank's name should be prominently displayed onside the unit where goods are hypothecated to bank. Example, our bank, XYZ bank, board like this should be displayed outside. Next, in case of pledge, ensure that the storage area is properly maintained, earthquake and flood resistant, goods are stored in the proper manner, also stock audit is regularly conducted and a proper register is maintained. Also note that the stocks or securities that are offered should be adequately insured and that too on the continuous basis. Next, branch should maintain an inspection register where all the findings at the site should be noted. It is a good idea to take 2-3 snapshots and paste them on the register with signature of visiting officials. Another point to note is that inspection should be done vigorously and not pre-inform the borrower and telling him to prepare tea or snacks. Inspection should be done without even making borrower know that you are going to visit and which date or time. Just caught the borrower red-handed. Only then you will come to know how he behaves and the image in society. In case of housing loans, visit office of sub-registrar or revenue office to verify the charge of bank on the mortgaged property. Next is CERSAI. After disbursing the mortgage related cases, the mortgage must be registered with CERSAI within 1 month of loan. It is mandatory and a registered number must be mentioned on the loan file. Now, let's see post-sanction appraisal. Post-sanction appraisal generally deals with documentation of facility and after lending follow-up. One must carefully view the transactions on the loan or CC facility given. Non-payment of interest on due date should be immediately followed up with the borrower. In case of CC, frequent overdraft should not be allowed. Many limit holders have this practice of asking for overdrafts to clear their checks in clearing. Also, transactions with sister concern should be monitored. Scrutinize the stock statement which are periodically submitted. Physically verify the securities and books of accounts of the borrower. Next come ROC. In case of private or public companies, the bank's charge on the assets of the companies must be registered with ROC within 30 days of creation of charge. The search report of this charge must be put on record. Now let's see review of borrower's account. The periodical review of borrower's account is necessary. The first is for NPA control. If you can identify some odds during initial stages of account, then you can easily minimize your future NPA. Next, for taking preventive measures for improvement in cash flow and avoid slippages into substandard or doubtful category. Also, review is important to ascertain if business is doing good or bad. If bad, then preventive measures may be taken. Next is vetting. The executed documents of loans of larger amounts must be got vetted from advocate on the bank's panel and certificate should be put on record. In case of larger loans, the documents must be got vetted second time from another advocate on the bank's panel and certificate should be put on record. Now comes post-sanction follow-up. For post-sanction follow-up, ensure terms and conditions of sanction is intimated to borrower well in advance. Also ensure that borrower is advised for the same. Ensure receipt of acceptance of terms and conditions and kept on record and are fulfilled before disbursement. Now let's see post-lending visit. This visit is very important to verify the end use of funds. Assets to be created by the loans sanctioned must be verified physically and facts noted should be kept on the visit report. Now comes an important part, that is renewal or revival. Renewal or revival of accounts must be done on due date on the basis of latest financial documents. Friends, this checklist is only indicative and not exhaustive. The guidelines may vary from bank to bank, but it will help people dealing in advances portfolio to take judicious and prompt decisions dealing with loan proposals. The mantra for good credit is simple. Good system of appraisal or assessment of credit needs an effective supervision and follow-up post-sanction. Thanks for watching this seminar. Hope this will improve the way you work in advances and enhance your knowledge. Don't forget to subscribe this channel by hitting the red subscribe button below this video. Thank you.